Nest of Vipers 1978. A background of rising fascism in Venice in 1930s. A music student Mattia mixes with the town's bourgeoisie and falls in love with a mature teacher Carla, the mother of his friend Renato, and then with his young colleague Elena. The theme includes blackmail, betrayal, seduction, and eventually murder. In Venice in the 1930s, Mattia, a young man of modest background, arrived to take up a piano scholarship at the conservatory. He makes friends with another student Renato, whose vivacious widowed mother Carla is short of money and survive by giving piano lessons. Mattia and Carla start a passionate affair in secret. However, Renato, who is unhealthily close to his mother, gets suspicious and Mattia breaks it off abruptly. Carla is deeply hurt at this betrayal and nurses a desire for revenge. Channel Viaggio Celebrity presents top 10 movies like Nest of Vipers. Number 10. Out of Season 1975. Joe Turner returned to Great Britain 20 years after he ended a romantic relationship with Anne. He discovered her running the same hotel in a picturesque seaside resort in Dorset, but now with a grown daughter named Jonah. Joe and Anne attempt to renew their relationship but with interference from Jonah, who flirts with Joe from the moment she meets him and successfully competes with her mother for his attention. Days into Joe's return, an argument with Anne leads to him leaving, but Jonah follows him in the car and asks him to stay, and he returns to the hotel. That evening, Joe unexpectedly discovers one of the women offering herself to him in his bedroom, and he wordlessly accepts her invitation. The following morning, Joe behaves as if he thinks the woman was Anne, and he and Anne attempt to continue to revive their relationship. But the evening ends with Jonah announcing to the other two that she had been with Joe the previous night. Number 9. A Famiglia Domar 1981. The lonely Zerusa lives in a simple isolated house by the seaside with the siblings Cassandra and Alice, and the family survive by selling handicraft for a local store. Her husband Santiago is a sailor who has been missing for many years. When the stranger Rock arrives at Zerusa's house late afternoon, he tells her that Santiago was murdered in a bar fight. Zerusa lodges Rock to spend the night and they have a one-night stand. He then seduces Cassandra and he convinces Alice to have a relationship with his sister. Zerusa realizes that Rock, who has a dreadful secret, is a destructive being that is threatening her family. Obviously, this movie has some lofty artistic pretensions, but it is at least somewhat more successful, and certainly less annoying, than some other pretentious Brazilian movie of that era like Love Strange Love. Brazilian cinema was famous at that time for stealing popular music and incorporating it in a usually very inappropriate and obstructive manner. Keeping with its general level of artiness, this movie instead borrows classical music from Beethoven and Grieg. Number 8. An Adolescent 2001. Tomokawa is a tough guy turned bow cop who spends much of his time setting lonely housewives and looking after retarded teen Sukemasa. One day while hanging out at a bar, he is approached by Yoko, offering a round of illicit love in exchange for cash. Though he demurs, their paths cross again and soon a relationship of sorts form. Yoko, it turns out, is Sukemasa's sister and both are the children of his old flame Yuki, a grasping self-centered woman. Moreover, Yoko's grandfather is responsible for the massive tattoo sprawling across Tomokawa's back. Tomokawa soon takes both teens under his wing, protecting them from their heartless mother and their lecherous stepfather. Soon Yoko gets a similarly massive tattoo illustrating her bond with her policeman savior. The guy who directed this film is Sakura Ando's father. Her directed Sakura's love scene in her feature film debut Out of the Wind. In showbiz families, that may be a non-event or even a bold and smart thing to do. He directed and starred in this film about a 40-something cop and a 15-year-old girl who fall in love. It got good press when it ran the festival circuit for the great length it went to in trying not to be creepy. Make the girl tough, smart, the aggressor. Number 7. Bambina 1974. In order to convince Raimonda, a wealthy noblewoman, to finance his project for a holiday resort, Saverio, a lawyer, gets engaged to Clotilde, her mentally disturbed and love-obsessed adolescent daughter. He planned to have her kidnapped by an accomplice so she won't be a virgin anymore and he will have an excuse to get out of the impending marriage. But what he doesn't plan is to fall in love with the girl. It may not seem to exactly be every middle-aged man's worst nightmare to have to marry a teenager, and then 18-year-old Savoy was definitely a teenager. However, her character literally has the mentality of a 2-year-old throughout most of the movie. She giggles and squirms while he gives her a bath. Of course, she doesn't consistently act infantile. At times she seems seductive or even nymphomaniacal, and he eventually falls for her. Absurdist comedy, it's pretty harmless, but if it's meant to be erotic, it's pretty damn disturbing unless you have some weird thing for female adult babies. Number 6. Light Devasa 1984. Teodoro D'Angelo arrived in Sao Paulo from Florianopolis, expecting to have better conditions to support his family working as driver. He is hired by the wealthy Marina to work for her family, and Teodoro learns that her husband Renato is traveling in Europe in a business trip. Teodoro is assigned to drive to Campos do Jordão, where Marina has a vacation manor. Marina introduces her sister Lucia and her daughter Anne Paula that are spending vacation in the house. Sooner, Marina tells Teodoro that her husband is important and Lucia is her rival in her love affairs. Marina has love with Teodoro while the mysterious snooper Clovis has hidden camera in every room, watching the infidelity of Marina with Teodoro. Then Lucia seduces Teodoro and they have love. When Teodoro goes on downtown for shopping with Marina, two strangers approach to him and tells him that the previous family driver Alfredo and Renato were killed in the house, but he does not give credit to the word of the man. Elite Devasa is a pretentious erotic thriller with elementary story, terrible screenplay and awful edition. Number 5. Cindy and Donna 1970. Cindy, a sweet young thing being raised in the suburbs with her half-sister Donna, is silently undergoing awakening. 15-year-old Cindy and 17-year-old Donna share the same mother but have different fathers. After the ace spies Donna making the beast with two back with her dad, Cindy goes wild. She sucks off her inhibition, smoke pot with her friend Karen, and the two gratify their sapphic desire in each other's arm. Meanwhile, Donna, more advanced along the path of awakening, achieve congress with three young swains. Cindy is seduced by Donna's view, but Donna discovers them as they are about to bump bellies. Her boyfriend throws Donna out of the house and tragedy ensues when a crying Donna, distorted in the street, is run down by a passing motorist. Cindy must live the rest of her life with the knowledge that her pursuit of carnal knowledge led to the death of her sister. This film was made when women were objects and men were happier for it. Alice Fredland, who is uncredited as a stripper, has the most amazing body that you will ever see. Number 4. Fire Under the Skin 1985. American Raphael talked his colleague at the Parisian University into spending his summer at the family's country mansion. But once there, Raphael seduces and plays the sister and mother against each other, until everyone is revealed at their very worst. As it turned out, that was Raphael's intention all along, because his own torrid past is deeply rooted in their family's dirty history. Patriarchy and things staying in the family well with friends like this, a strange movie that relishes in a lot of love and romance, and also a lot of misogyny. They seem to like it though, but herein lies a dangerous assumption. It is a movie, it is not reality. Remember that, or you may have issue enjoying this even a little bit. The story is quite simple overall, if you can even call it that. A lot of strange behavior, a lot of deceive. This may have been remade or also been done in Poison Ivy and other movie as someone else suggested, but that does not make it really better. There are some funny scenes though too, like cheating next door to your husband and talking to him while doing so. Overall, not really that memorable. Number 3. Milka, a film about taboos, 1980. In a small Finnish Lapland community, Milka, an innocent girl, lives with her mother, misses her dead father and prays God to show her what love is. For haymaking, the employee a simple but hard-working field hand, nicknamed Chris Devil, would decide to stay and become the man of the house, courting both the mother and daughter. Eventually he leaves them both and Milka has his child. Taboo was adapted into screen by Mollberg under the title Milka. The film was praised for its photography and poetry. Again, Mollberg used amateurs. The 17-year-old schoolgirl Emma Hunts had several love scenes, which later confused her life in the small village, where she returned after the filming was over. A newspaper wrote that Mollberg had unleashed his fascination with the white human flesh. He makes a number of excuses to undress people. Unlike the Kaurismäki brothers, who followed and double-handedly created a tongue-in-cheek Finnish film style for fans around the world, Mollberg was committed to a naturalistic approach. His films overflow with nature, life, lust, and earthiness one finds in Scandi cinema, mainly in the work of a more famous talent. I am curious. Number 2. Obscene, the case of Peter Hers, 1981. A West German man, mistaken by the police for a left-wing terrorist, hides in Vienna with a prostitute and her daughter. They become both a threesome and a happy surrogate family, but nothing lasts forever. Peter Hers, social worker and left sympathizer from Wuppertal, West Germany, is assaulted and robbed on the way back from Yugoslavia to his home country. Due to a misunderstanding, the police mistake him for a left-wing terrorist. He finds shelter in Vienna with a tough but loving show actress called Kathy, who falls for him. Since he likes her as well, they end up having love in her apartment. However, Kathy's daughter Edeltraud, who is in a possessive psycho relationship with her mother, arrives home and catches them in the act. Hurt and shocked, she runs away to her room. Kathy goes after her to calm her down with some love. Peter finds this bizarre situation strangely compelling, and after Edeltraud becomes used to him and start liking him, they eventually become a weird happy surrogate family. Meanwhile, the search for Peter, led by a frustrated elderly commissioner, is at full speed, and Kathy's greedy pimp sees this as an opportunity to get easy money by betraying her. Number 1. Red Roses of Passion, 1966. A man-hungry suburban woman feels frustrated since she lives in the home of her prudish aunt and cousin, who interrupt and criticize her amorous liaisons. A co-worker brings her to a tarot card reader who introduces her to a club of women who meet occasionally to share an intoxicating brew, tease each other with long-stem roses, and honor the heathen god Pan. The occultist managed to corrupt the aunt and cousin and lure the woman into full-fledged membership so she might participate in its climactic ritual. Sarno is one of the last undiscovered authors, and though this is an obscure title, it is likely his finest work. As in his best-known American film Seen in the Suburb, his camera subtle pries into the confined and frustrated world of Kennedy-era suburban America. He is able to conjure up an overwhelming atmosphere of mystery and eroticism, tinged simultaneously with anomie and longing. And as in the earlier film, the occult trappings serve to intensify the character escape from normality and lure the viewer into breathless complicity. Although technically primitive, the many strikingly lit and composed image place this work squarely in Lyotonovsky territory. Number 1. Russian Lolita, 2007. The action of a controversial novel Lolita of the famous Russian writer Vladimir Nabokov, reset to present-day Russia. A mother and her daughter are running short of money and are thankful that they could rent a room to a writer. The mother is lonely and the daughter is coming of age. The mother immediately gets in love with him, which causing to the daughter a terrible jealousy. And then the daughter chooses the most unfailing weapon. She tried to discourage him from her mother. She tried to get his attention by parading around, asking his help with her shower and rubbing up against him, and flashing him whenever her mother is not looking. She is even trying to convince her mom that since she is becoming a woman, that he should teach her some of the finer point of love. Could the grown man resist the charm of a nymphet? This movie is a very loose adaptation of the novel Lolita by Vladimir Nabokov. The main connection is that a writer is renting a room at a single mother and her teen daughter, and the writer starts an affair with the daughter.